this is...
Hello, everybody. We are the Nerdaholics. He's Jack and I'm Sean, just in case you forgot who
I can't introduce myself anymore. I'm not allowed. Introduction privileges have been taken away
until you know your name.
I'm Brian. I'm Brian and so's my wife. Someone has leaked, in inverted commas.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about
now. Yeah, the Star Wars Episode 9...
synopsis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, long story short, it's horseshit. The synopsis says that it's like it's a 5-year time skip.
From Last Jedi to whatever the fuck this film's going to be called. Or The Empire Returns or something basic like that. Yes,
it's kind of like... It very much shows, right, from this little from the synopsis, that they really... This is like probably the first like original thing that they've done in the Star Wars movies, as in proper original. However, they've got no setup for any of it.
No. I mean, there's going to have to be a fucking 10-minute fucking montage at the beginning, because at the end of The Last Jedi, you don't really know where it's going, but not in a good way. It's like, you go, well, me personally, and yourself as well, I believe, walked out of that movie thinking, oh, okay, well, what's going to... I don't know. There was no point to it, and also I don't know what's going to happen next, but I don't really care what's going to happen next, because it just sort of ended, and that was it. There was no like, oh, right, this is the direction we're going, and it was just like it was just a bit of a really flat kind of direction.
Yeah.
Whereas in The Empire Strikes Back, obviously, it's like it ends on a kind of a somber note, but then there's a little bit of like curiosity about, oh shit, what's going to happen now?
So,
do you know what I mean?
We know that there's something involving rescuing Han Solo.
Yeah.
So we know there's something like that.
And what's Luke going to do now? You know what I mean? Like, what is the next course of action? How are you going to stop Vader? You know?
Yeah.
Is Vader going to, try and coax Luke over? Things like that. Yeah. Whereas at the end of Last Jedi, it was just like, oh, so Rey and Kylo kind of teamed up, then they didn't, and now Kylo's just this new Emperor now? What are their goals? Anyway, carry on.
The thing is, it's just... There's no setup. It's like Force Awakens was all set up, which is kind of one of its big flaws, as well as one of the great jumping off points for it, because it's like, okay, you do this well, you can tie this in very nicely to original as well as prequel trilogy as well as original trilogy, Rebels TV show, and like Clone Wars TV show, or whatever books you want to do. And first of all, and Chuck Wendig, you wrote the Aftermath books. Fuck you, I read that shit. That's horse shit. Anyone who tells you it's good is lying to you.
Or an idiot, yeah.
I went to the library and borrowed it. I got to about page 50 and basically just returned it. Then, same fucking day. It's horrendous. Be ashamed of yourself. Fuck you, stupid.
Shame on you. Shame. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Shame. Shame. We got to do a Game of Thrones thing at some point.
We're gonna find an elderly priest woman. We'll find a nun to follow you around saying shame.
Shame.
It's horrendous. It really is so bad.
Is it bad? Is it really that bad?
Okay. You can't write for shit, and I don't. Thing is, right? I've got plenty of trashy Star Wars novels, right? I've got plenty of trashy ones. They're over in the corner there. Like, Sean will show you. And it's like the collection's not fantastic, but they're trashy.
Oh,
that's right. And there's some really good ones in there. So there's some trashy ones in there. But I will at least say that each one.
Oh, that's Tolkien. And there's more down here as well.
Yeah. I would say that all of them are at least competently written.
Yeah.
Right? His isn't. And the only reason...
transition. The thing with Force Awakens, that the general big complaint about it was, it was a rehash of New Hope. It was literally like a cover story of it. Or a cover song. It's like, okay, there are definitely similarities there, not denying that. They had to play it safe. They wanted to make sure that everyone forgot the disasters that were the prequels, although saying that not disastrous when Last Jedi comes into it. First movies in the saga that you could have done a cover story of. So I think I wasn't too bothered about that. Yeah. And also, it left you questions. It left you with questions that you wanted to find out the answers to.
Yeah.
What is Rey's backstory? What's going to happen now that she's with Luke? You know what I mean? Like, who is Snoke, for example?
You got
who are the Knights of Ren? How did Kylo Ren get to where he was? You know what I mean? Little things like that were like, oh, okay, I'm interested to find out what happens next. And then The Last Jedi just thought, you know, those questions that you asked, we're not going to answer them. In fact, we're going to even delete the fact that you asked those questions in the first place.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's like
it's not even like you got an answer that you didn't like. I mean, you did. There were just
no answers, or answers that just made no sense.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Rey's parents being just random like druggies, and it's like,
oh, there were no one.
There were no one. It's like, what? Okay, then that explains. Okay, fine. If that's the answer you want to give us, you've still got to explain why she is this fucking Force talented, and why she's this fucking good with Force powers.
And before anyone says, oh well, the end of the movie where the kid uses the Force to pick up the broom means that anyone can have the Force. No, that's bollocks. That is complete and utter bullshit. And I will refuse to accept that as a point of anyone has potential to have the Force. If
anyone had the potential to use the Force, then in the fucking episode 1, Phantom Menace, there'd be like a queue of people trying to get into that fucking Jedi temple.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be a case of like, they go through tests to see if you actually can do it or not. Because if anyone could do it, then you wouldn't have to test to see if people could do it.
Exactly. And the fact that Anakin was considered to be too old, even at the age of fucking 7 or 8, or however old Jake Lloyd was at that time.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, so what constitutes as not being too old? What, you literally have to be a baby or 3 years old or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
And now if this is the direction they're going in, where it's like, anyone, it's like we're going back to before, everyone's really a winner, there are no losers, blah blah blah. It's like, well, that just defeats the whole it seems to me that's what they're going for. It defeats the object of there being Jedi in the first place. Yeah. And if that's the case, and they're going in that direction of the Jedi is just like like these films are not for traditional old people anymore who were basically the Jedi, in the same respect that these films aren't just for Star Wars fans, they're literally for anyone, which is fine if you do it tastefully rather than just dismiss the fan base that has kept you alive for so fucking long.
If the movie was just good and not insulting, then no one would care. That's what the truth really boils down to. It's kind of like, no one needs any more Star Wars movies. No,
we do not.
We've got episodes 1 to 6. You know, regardless of what you think of the prequels, we've got them.
Yeah.
They're not the best told movies.
They're not the best made movies. There's still a decent story there, and it has a direction, and it has a fucking purpose.
The story has potential and purpose, and it's like it's one of those things where it's kind of like, it's a net positive. You can forgive the bad stuff because the good stuff's good.
Apart from Attack of the Clones. But even that, I would have, like we said before.
I say you can forgive the good stuff. You can forgive the bad stuff when there's good stuff. If there's no good stuff in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Except for Yoda, but even then, that's...
Yeah. But then even then it's like, I think Last Jedi may have surpassed that. But anyway...
Last Jedi has surpassed how bad Attack of the Clones was.
Yeah.
Well, that's the world we live in.
That is depressing.
The worst prequel movie is still better than The Last Jedi. I know there's no monetary figures to back that up or anything, at least not the thing we have to hand.
No, because people aren't objective anymore. They just want to go and watch blasters and lightsabers, and even that wasn't that good in The Last Jedi as well.
Yeah.
Or you had one decent fight between Kylo Ren and Rey. It even wasn't really of that much significance or consequence. This has just turned into a massive rant about The Last Jedi.
Hey, it's The Last Jedi video.
We're talking. Yeah, this can be it then. This can be it.
We'll do some clever editing, so it's just rolls as The Last Jedi.
You can be like, this is like the problem with Star Wars today, or something like that.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And this is it, right? I'm basically at the point...
this is about the synopsis for the next film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm basically of the opinion, right? Because the books that Sean recorded a few minutes ago, right?
Yeah.
All those books had to get approved by George Lucas's LucasArts company. So it wouldn't have gone to George Lucas himself. The interesting fact, though, he did give notes on quite a few of the storylines and bits and pieces in some of those books.
Yeah.
So, especially stuff that's like the New Jedi Order onwards.
Yeah.
But basically, because he has given notes of what they can and cannot do, that means he has approved those stories in one way or another. which
fit in
means
with his vision of the story as it should be. Yeah,
it's kind of like if George Lucas, in even a roundabout way, has approved those stories, that makes them more canon than anything Disney's put out.
Well, yeah.
To my mind, that's what's canon. Those books, the books, the comics, the games.
Yes. And I think maybe they realise, oh shit, right, yeah, we're going to just delete all that decent stuff from canon because we're Disney and we rule the universe now. So we're going to make what we want canon. If you don't like it, fuck you, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you know what we say to that, Disney? Fuck you.
For all the good Disney has done with, like, you know,
it has done some good. I won't get
with like the Marvel Cinematic Universe and just the generic Disney movies.
Yeah,
like the generic Disney princess movies that come out every now and again.
Yeah,
they're all good. They all have their place, whether you like them or not. There's someone who does like them. But the Disney Star Wars movies, it's kind of like, you know what? Unless you're like one of these really try-hard apologetic fanboys, it's like, oh no, it's good because, you know...
Because it's not the prequels! It's like, no, it's not, but it's not necessarily a bad thing at the moment.
No, it's like, there is nothing any try-hard fan can say to me that's going to make me feel bad for not liking this movie. And if you try to tell me I'm not a fan, well, you've seen the books, you've seen the comics, you've seen what I've got and what I own for Star Wars. You know, highlighted T-shirt with the Millennium Falcon being the ship of choice. The point is, it's like, look, you can't just go around calling other fans who disagree with you losers or whatever.
Which is exactly the same sort of thing that's happening in Doctor Who at the moment as well. Like we've done a video on this. If you haven't seen it already, check out our video entitled "Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor, Yay or Nay."
Yeah.
Because it's the fandom for Doctor Who is very similar in the sense that it's like if you have any reservations about a certain change, then you're not a true fan of Doctor Who. And it's a bit like, well, no, that is a really generalist thing to say. Because it's the same sort of thing with the Star Wars universe. It's like, oh, you're clearly not a Star Wars fan if you don't lap every second up and enjoy all the shit that Disney wants you to like the taste of.
This is it. It's kind of like, you know, just because, you know, you're a fan doesn't mean you have to accept substandard quality.
No.
You know, and you take any band, take your favourite album, right?
From favourite band from your favourite album from your favourite band, right? Yeah.
I'm willing to bet let's say there's 11, 10, 11
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you an example. Me personally, being a fan of Iron Maiden, right? Yeah. Favourite band of all time, fucking love them. Great live most of the time. They've done 16 albums in their career, right? I mean, that's a lot of fucking albums, but then they've been going for a long fucking time. But that's not to say that there aren't albums in that 16 that I'm just like, oh god, because you've got the great stuff. You can, as a basis of comparison, it's like, oh man, how did you churn out something like this when you've done this, this, and this, and then all you've done this since then? It's like, and I'm just as an example, it's like it's the similar thing with movies and franchises. It's like, but these films were so great. How the fuck where did you go so wrong? And you know, as a fan, you're going to be more passionate about the bad stuff than a non-fan doesn't really care because that's because you genuinely care about that product.
Yeah, and this is it.
So it is more frustrating for the actual fans. You know what I mean?
This is it. It's kind of like using the album analogy. It's like you look at any album of any band. Out of like 10 songs per album ish.
Yeah, on average. Yeah.
I'm willing to bet 3 of them are shit.
Yeah.
You'll think 3 of them are shit.
Either shit or just nothing songs or filler. Exactly, filler. Similar with TV shows like Game of Thrones, for example. That has, on the whole, it has more good episodes than bad.
Yeah.
But every season always has 2 or 3 filler episodes in it because it's like. Actually, no, Walking Dead is probably a better example of that because it's half great and half absolutely fucking terrible. And it's like, how can you go from being great to really shit in the same series? It's just frustrating because when the good stuff's good, it's very good. So yeah, and that's the kind of basis of comparison we have with the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah,
it's very frustrating when it's not
Doctor
good.
Who,
and especially with Doctor Who.
You know what? you can be a Star Wars fan, you can be a Doctor Who fan.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we all have to like the same episodes.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we all have to like the same Doctors.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah.
On that note, we'll see you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
Ciao.
Ciao.
See ya. Bye.